We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin. And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this.
And what we have here is CaJohns Black Garlic Ghost Hot Sauce. And like I was saying in the review, which is available in the description below, what we have here is basically the same label as the Chipotle one, where we're talking umami bomb, and we've got relatively the same ingredients, so let's take a look at those. We have here, sorry about the glare, Fresno pepper, apple cider vinegar. We have sweet soy sauce, which has a few components: brown sugar, ghost pepper, black garlic powder, cayenne powder, and salt. So there are actually I don't remember if the Chipotle has the cayenne powder or not in it, but there are. It's mostly the same, but there are some differences to this. Now, we can see here this has a lot more stuff in it than the other one did. The other one didn't quite have all these chunks. It flows. It's a little sludgy. It's not quite the consistency of either a soy sauce or a sweet soy, but it is. I would put it along the lines of like a teriyaki sauce, where it's got a little bit of maybe a runny teriyaki sauce, but where it's got a little bit of that flow to it, but it also is a little bit thicker and sludgier. So, and this one does stick a little bit better than some of the other ones. So let's get the pour here. I want to be a little careful with this so it doesn't migrate everywhere, because it is a touch on the runny side, I would say. You can see here it's flowing, it's leveling itself in the spoon, and there are little particles, all kinds of particulates in it here. It has the same hue. It's basically a somewhat darkish brown, maybe medium to dark brown. It does tinge towards orange a little bit there. You can see where when it's not as concentrated, it does have bit of an orange cast, maybe a red orange cast to it. But here we go. This is quite good. We've got the sweet soy, and then with the back current, the ghost pepper, bringing a little bit of heat there. Not ton, but a little bit. The taste of the Fresno's actually shines through a little bit better in this one, and getting a touch of cayenne out of this as well. This really, it's remarkable to me how much better of a sauce this is than the Chipotle version of this, because like I said in the written review, available below, I did not understand what the hype was supposed to be, because I thought it was a pretty confusing sauce, and I couldn't quite make out what to do with it because it didn't make itself clear, I don't think, in any one direction. This one, I understand the umami part of this, and I have a better feel for where this sauce is going to fit in. So if you're going to get one of these black garlic sauces and you want something with an Asian-y slant in particular, I highly recommend you take a strong look at this one. CaJohns has been, one of the leaders in the industry for definitely as long as I've been doing this, and the high quality nature of almost every sauce, there's very few missteps, but the high quality nature of his sauces make it a pretty safe bet. This particular one, though, like the Chipotle, I think was a stumble, because that sauce was just kind of there for me. This one, I get it. I understand the hype. And this is a delicious, fantastic, spectacular type of sauce for what it is trying to achieve here, which is that umami punch. The other one, actually, oddly enough, just never quite hit that for me, despite there being a similarity in makeup, which I guess goes to show you the attempted to use Chipotle in that setting, I think, was kind of an error. But the Ghost is such a... I think there's a lot of overshadowing with dragons and Pepper X and all this other stuff. With the Scoville unit race right now, it's like an arms race, right? And I think it's overshadowing a lot of things like flavor and such. And the ghost pepper for me is now becoming somewhat of an undersung pepper. And I'm finding the flavor. I always enjoyed the flavor, but I'm finding the flavor more and more these days to be something that I really can see start to be developed and stuff. So hopefully people will continue using it, because I find myself more and more fond of it as time goes on. So I mentioned in both reviews, I think, that ramen is one of the applications where I find this to be a phenomenal sauce to add in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to actually cook this in front of you. What I'm going to do, and if you do want to see this, there are a number of videos where I actually go through this, but what I think I'm going to do here is I'm just going to prep it. I'm going to doll it up, get rid of that, and I'm just going to get it ready to go. So I'll show you guys about how much I'm putting on this. This is just, you can see it's the Maruchan Yakisoba. And so what I do first is I like to just get the seasoning on there. I do all my noodles the same way. You can check out some of the other ramen videos if you're interested. And I go into the full adventure in a number of those. And what I try to do is I base this on color. So when I think the color is about right, let me just a touch more in here. And when I think the color is about right, what I'll do is I'm going to run water over this, run it right to that fill line. The fill line's right here. Run it right to the fill line. I'm going to cook it for 4 minutes. I'm going to let it sit for 5. And then we're going to come right back here and take a look at what our results are. Alright, and we get something like this. And let's just go on, stir that up a little bit here. Make sure that it's nice and incorporated in. Got a little steam here, so it might be too hot to eat here for a second. But sometimes I'll break these apart. Like in the videos, like you see me do that a lot just because it's easier to eat like that. But these I didn't, so we'll just have to make our best of this. If you're a fan of tonkatsu ramen, actual good tonkatsu, like at a restaurant that knows what they're doing, and you put in the black sesame, something along those lines, this would fit completely in with that. This would be fantastic to have. You know, and had we not gotten into this COVID situation that we find ourselves in, this would have been something I would have considered going to the restaurant to get. There's a really good ramen restaurant nearby, and I would have considered going there to get that. I don't know if they're still open, but just to kind of show you guys the way that I'll get that in a restaurant, I would consider taking this with, to be honest. I know some people will bring hot sauce with them to restaurants. I usually don't. When I was younger, I actually brought food with me to restaurants, but it just seems almost a show-offy vibe, and I don't know that I really want to necessarily call attention to myself amidst the other patrons. So Generally, I don't do that. Plus, there's also the matter of storage, because I don't have a purse or anything like that. If I had a jacket with an inside pocket, I guess that's fine. But what do you do in the summertime, right? You don't want the sauce to get too hot waiting for you to use it, especially if you're not going directly, back and forth from the home to your restaurant. So, I just have never found it really fitting, I guess, for me. In a lot of places I eat at, you could have chefs finding that behavior tacky also. And I don't want to do that with a lot of the chefs and a lot of the restaurants, just because their food is good enough to stand on its own. Oh man, this is just I don't eat these noodles without some kind of sauce. I like the noodles with sauce. I think their chicken base works extremely well with various hot sauces, particularly that Togarashi one that Private Selection used to have. But these noodles are inedible to me, without some kind of hot sauce component. And I really like the flavor profile to meld and mesh as well. Not all of them do that. This particular one does extremely well. This ghost pepper black garlic. I put a bit much on here because I'm getting a little bit more soy sauce than I actually would like to have, but all in all, quite good. And we just got a little bit of sauce left there as a remnant, but I don't care. My goal when I make these, as I've said numerous times before, is really kind of a bachelor sort of thing where I try to eliminate liquid completely if I can. I'm not a big fan of soup, so I try to just have just the noodles themselves. And I'm usually only moderately successful with that. So, but there it is. CaJohns Black Garlic Ghost Hot Sauce. Again, this is a astounding entry point into black garlic, particularly for chili heads. If you use a lot of it, I think you could get to the point where normal people might not enjoy the kind of heat that sustained indulgence of ghost peppers can sometimes bring. But definitely for chili heads, this is another winner. What can you say? CaJohn. John Hard rides again.
Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.